Hello everybody, this is Fuzzfinger and welcome to Hearthstone. And I do not actually have a lot of Hearthstone content on my channel, despite the fact I've been playing this game for about a month now and I do enjoy it. The reason I haven't done much content up until this point is because I am far from an expert. And one thing I've learned is that unless you're some sort of legendary ranked player in this game, you're going to be criticised by all the other folks who are probably around about the same level as you are, but somehow seem to know better than you do. So yes, if you want absolute professional playing, then this isn't going to be the video series for you. If you want to see some noob mistakes, and I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but let's say you do, then yes, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of this series. What I thought I would do is go for the arena. I've finally managed to collect 260 gold in order to buy my way into the arena. I'm a cheapskate, so I don't want to spend real money on getting in. I'll just show you very quickly what my rank is. I'm rank 15, which, you know, isn't brilliant. The season did reset at the end of January, so about a week ago now, and like I said, I haven't played a whole lot, so I probably could be a higher rank, but again, I don't have a lot of Imber cards because I don't buy decks, which means rank 15 probably isn't too bad. When you start getting legendary cards and whatnot, which I don't have, then you can start moving up the ranks a bit higher. But we're going to do arena today, as I mentioned, which is completely random. It's based solely on, well, I say solely on skill. It's also quite a bit of luck as well, because you don't know what cards you're going to get. And we can choose Rogue, Mage or Warlock. We can only choose one of these three random heroes that it has selected for us. I am thinking, I do like Mage. I've got up to rank 15 mainly by using my Mage. But it's probably the weakest, to be honest, out of all the classes at the moment in Hearthstone. And Rogue is pretty good, but there's a lot of good decks with Warlock as well. The only problem is most of them are rush decks at the minute. And I am going to choose Warlock, but there's no guarantee we're going to be able to build a rush deck. I mean, we've got some high level cards right here and our first choice. Costs one less for every other minion on the battlefield, the Sea Giant. There's other forms of giants as well, like the Molten Giant, which costs one less for, I think, the amount of damage you've taken or the amount of cards in your hands. There's multiple varieties of the giants anyway. But I don't think I'm going to go Sea Giants because we'd really need two in order to do so, and there's no guarantee we're going to get another one. We could go Bane of Doom, or we could Battle Cry the minion and become a copy of it with the Faceless Manipulator. I'm thinking it's going to be one of these two. Since we haven't made any chosen any cards yet, I'd like to get a minion on the board. We'll go for the Faceless Manipulator. Now, I do want to try and sort of, I don't know whether to create a rush deck because, again, we don't know what cards we're going to be able to choose from. But if we get the option to go for some of the lower cost cards, then at the start that's probably not a bad idea. The Blood Imp is always nice to have, especially if you can pull it out right at the beginning. So we've got a choice here. I'm probably going to upset some people with this choice. We can deal damage and restore 2 health to our hero, or we can go for the Murloc Raider. Now, I'm going to skip the Murloc Raider because there is a variety. I think it's 2 mana that comes with charge. So we'll see what we get there. We could get a better card than that for a 1 cost. So we'll go for the Drain Life. Blood Imp, I'm going to go for the Blood Imp. Always nice to have 2 of those. You can get more than 2 in an arena deck, but for now, that is what we want. We haven't got much card draw yet, although we do have the Warlock Spell, which is a card draw. We could go for the Voodoo Doctor. I'm not a big fan of the Voodoo Doctor because at a 1 mana cost, it is one of the cards you would like to bring out at the start if you're going for a rush, but the Battle Cry isn't particularly useful at that point, usually I would say. So I think we'll go for the Gnomish Inventor, and we could go for another Gnomish Inventor here, or we could go for the Shattered Sun Cleric. Both are very useful cards actually, but I think we'll go for the Gnomish Inventor. We could go for a 3rd Blood Imp if we actually wanted to do that, but I don't think we want 3 Blood Imps. That would be 3 out of 30 cards then, which wouldn't be doing any damage at all. So maybe we could go for Drain Life. I do have a Warlock deck, but I've never used Drain Life in it. Or we could go for the Nightblade, but for 5 mana for a 4/4, I think we'll be going for Drain Life. Now, Succubus 4/3 isn't too bad actually for a 2 mana cost. Yes, you do discard that random card, but if you can get some minions played on the field, and maybe just have this in your deck near the start by itself, it could be pretty useful. Or we could go for the heal for a 0 mana cost. Again, we will be destroying a card in order to do so. I think we'll go for the Succubus. A nice 4/3 early in the game could be very helpful. Now, the Flame Imp is a very good card for 1 mana cost, a 3/2. Yes, again, you do deal damage to your hero, but then hopefully you're going to retaliate with that damage more than once if you can get a couple of hits off with this thing. I think we're going to go for the Flame Imp. Argent Commander, always useful. And we haven't got anything in the way of 6 cost yet. We haven't collected any secrets, so I don't think the Secret Keeper is going to be too useful for us. So we'll go for the Argent Commander. Now we've got another hard choice. All of these cards can be useful. Soulfire, again, 0 mana, 4 damage, very useful. Power Overwhelming, I do see this quite a bit in other people's decks. Give friendly minion 4/4 until the end of the turn, then it dies horribly, so it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but for 1 mana cost, you're getting a 4/4 minion. Or the Fairy Dragon, which is useful against classes that have heavy spell damage. So I think we're either going to go for Soulfire or Fairy Dragon, and we'll go for Fairy Dragon since we've already got a card that's going to delete a minion. Doomguard, not bad for a 5 mana cost because of the charge, but the battle cry isn't very nice at all. But it is a pretty good card for 5 mana. The Wild Pyromancer, yeah, useful. Or the Imp Master. I think it's going to be between the Wild Pyromancer and the Imp Master. We do have a couple of spells which will trigger the Wild Pyromancer. Or maybe we could go for the Doomguard. We do get an immediate 5 damage because of the charge when we lay this down on the battlefield, and with the 7 health they are going to have to deal with that on the very next turn, else there'll be another 5 damage coming their way, so we are going to go for the Doomguard. The Grimscale Oracle, not particularly useful to us because we haven't gone for a Murloc heavy deck. Venture Mercenary, quite a useful card because a 7/6 for 5 mana is pretty awesome. Okay, you are going to put your minions, make them more expensive while this card is alive. Or we could go for the Shattered Sun Cleric. We did see one of these earlier and we chose something else, so we'll get that now. Hellfire, this will do 3 damage to everything that's on the battlefield, including your own hero as well as the enemy's hero. But we don't have much in the way of taunt at the minute, so I think the Sen'jin Shieldmaster is the way to go. Could probably do with another taunt as well at some point. Now we could go for the River Crocolisk, but it's a mediocre card. The Ooze is a much better card because it's the same mana cost, same damage and health, but also destroys the opponent's weapon. So I'm going to leave the River Crocolisk and go for the Elven Archer. A nice card early out. Boulder Fist Ogre, good if you're going for that late game damage. Sense Demons is a good card draw, but do we have a lot of demons? We have a few. Maybe we could start sticking some more in when we see them. Or the Gurubashi Berserker, which increases its power the longer it stays out taking damage. I think we'll go for Sense Demons. We just need to try and make sure we get some more demons into our deck. Voidwalker, I do like Voidwalker. It's an annoying card for the opponent to be played because you can play it early, seeing as how it has taunt. Fairy Dragon. Do we have a Fairy Dragon? Yes, we did get one out. Again, they are useful against heroes with spells. Stranglethorn Tiger, it's 5 mana cost, but you do get stealth, which means that unless they have something special up their sleeve, you're guaranteed to be able to do the damage the next turn. It's not going to get killed. Or the Dark Scale Healer. Again, 5 mana, restores 2 health to all offended characters. Potentially that is going to annoy your opponent, so that's always good. But I think we're going to go for another Fairy Dragon. Keep these low cost cards coming in. We could go for the Shadow Bolt here. 4 damage to a minion is always nice. But then we don't have a Silence at the moment, and that is also nice. For 2 mana, to get rid of a taunt or something off the battlefield, or some other form of nastiness, is always good. If they bring out Ragnaros or something, Silence is always useful. We haven't had much in the way of epics yet, have we? Certainly haven't had any legendaries. Right, 11 cards left to choose. Felguard. For 3 mana, I have seen this played in some legendary players' decks. But I think we're going to go for the Master Sword Smith because it's got a nice buff on it. Again, Bloodfen Raptor, we've seen that already. Ogre Magi, if we got many spells, I don't think we have, so we'll skip that. I didn't particularly want a 3rd Blood Imp. Having 3 of those on the board isn't going to be too helpful. Mainly because you only have a certain amount of space for your minions, and they're very rarely killed because of their stealth anyway. So I think we're going to go for the Bloodfen Raptor. It's probably the best of a not so useful bunch, really. Now we could go for another Novice Engineer, or we could go for the Earthen Ring Farseer. By the time you get to the 3 mana round, the restore 3 health is actually a little bit more useful, so we will go for that, especially if we've done a couple of card draws and we need to replenish that health. Argent Squire, 1 mana. You do tend to annoy people with Divine Shield. They have to ping that off before they can delete the minion. And we haven't got a lot of high value cards. Even if we're going for a rush deck, a few don't hurt. So I am going to go for the Boulder Fist Ogre here. We can play that at a later point then. Summoning Portal, very useful. Or we could go for another Dark Scale Healer. It's a tough choice actually. I think we're going to go for the Healer. Young Dragonhawk can be useful, especially if you can buff its damage, because this Wind Fury means it can attack twice in 1 turn. I'm not going to go for it with this deck because I don't think it would have very good synergy with what we've collected so far. We could go for the Priestess of Elune, or we could go for another Elven Archer. I'm thinking the Elven Archer, to be honest. Now we could get the Summoning deck again. Or we could go for the Frost Wolf Warlord. That could be useful later on in the game, especially if we have some low-cost minions already out on the board. The only problem is we will lose this attack and health if they kill those low-cost minions, which they're probably going to do. So I'm not going to go for the Summoning Portal because of the lack of high-value minions that we have. I think we're going to go for the Frostwolf Warlord, to be honest. And there's that that Murloc I was talking about that costs 2 mana but has charge. Or we could go for the Taunt. We don't have a lot of Taunt, and a bit of an earlier Taunt might be useful. I think we'll go for the Grizzly. And I think we're going to go for the Sen'jin Shieldmaster here for our 2nd or 3rd Taunt, rather. Sun Fury Protector, that's probably going to be the choice we're going to be going for. The Ancient Watcher, very useful for 2 mana, especially if you silence it, and we did get silence, that would give us a 4 attack, or we could pair it with a Sun Fury Protector and give it a taunt with 4 damage to anything that attacks it. But I think we're going to go for the Protector, and we'll have to see how this deck gets on. It could have been better. We didn't get many epics, and we didn't get any legendaries, so things could go wrong here. But let's start with the first game and see what happens. If we can get some early low mana cost minions out on the battlefield and start getting some of that damage out, then we could perhaps get a couple of wins here. The way Arena works, for those who don't know, is you continue on until you have 3 losses, and then your arena career is over until you buy back in again.
Your soul shall be mine.
That's not a bad starting hand, but I don't want the Doom Guard. No mission inventor, that we'll get rid of that for now as well. See if we can get some lower cost minions out. Oh well, that's okay, I guess. I've seen better, but so we're playing against a mage here. It's hard to know when you're playing in Arena what sort of deck you're going to come up against. Now we could get this down straight off the bat. We'll have a 4 damage out then on the next turn. And I'm not going to be too... I wouldn't like to lose the Gnomish Inventor, but to be honest, I could live with losing one of these cards, so I think it's going to be worth it. And yeah, we lose the Elven Archer, which is no problem at all. So we're laying the pressure out already at the start of this game with this 4 damage. And I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of it with 2 mana. I can't think of any cards off the top of my head that will do that, so they're just going to have to ping at it probably over the next couple of turns, which will mean we can get that damage out. So we can either go for the card draw now or deal 1 damage. And I think we'll go for the deal 1 damage. Get some early damage in on the board there. Always nice to see. If you can lay that early pressure on your opponent, then it does help, obviously. So they've got the point-sized summoner. We can't kill that. Oh yes, we can, look. For 2 damage to our hero, we could get rid of that straight off the bat. And the first minion you play each turn costs 1 less. That could potentially be damaging. So yeah, we are going to annoy them and ping that off the map or off the board. And we'll get our next 5 damage out. So we're sitting here on a 20-30 draw with 2 cards down on the board, which isn't too bad. They bring out the Earthen Ring Farseer, which they probably don't want to have to do this early in the game, but that's not too bad at all. I don't think I want to give taunt to this thing. I want to protect it. It's just a shame that I could taunt this on its own, but that seems like a waste of the protector, to be honest. So we'll see if this will last another round. It probably won't. It's going to get taken out by this thing, but at least it served its purpose. It's done quite a bit of damage, hasn't it? So yeah, we're going to lose that now, I should think, either to a spell out of the mage's card hand or the Earthen Ring Farseer if they want to trade that against this. They may not want to do that, to be honest, seeing as how they will have nothing on the board then. Although with 5 mana they can certainly remedy that, of course. But I still think we're in a pretty healthy position right now.
I'll be just like you.
That's quite a good spell, especially for a mage. Very useful. Okay, looks like they want to take out the Gnomish Inventor. That makes sense, actually. Oh, now that's interesting. Oh, we can't cast that yet because we're 1 mana short. So, the question now is, what do we want to do? We could... There's no point bringing that out because that will still get pinged off on the next available turn. Trying to think what the best play here would be. It's pointless. We can't take either. We could take that out with that. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Now we can't kill this without either trading this, which I don't want to do at the moment. We could easily do another 4 damage to their hero. I don't want to use a Sunfury Protector at this point. So maybe the best play, we could lay down. I don't want to lay down either of these, to be honest. I'm just going to go for the life tap. Okay, I'll stick both of these down. Maybe we'll heal that thing up above 3. Or one of these will get healed. We'll find out. Ah, well, that's really annoying, isn't it? Oh, well. It wouldn't have mattered even if this had only got 1 heal. It would still get pinged off by the Sorcerer's Apprentice. But we're still in a strong position here. They're going to have to cast some sort of spell that can go through stealth here to kill these. Otherwise, we're going to be healing up our other minions. Wind Fury, good card there. We're going to want to try and get rid of that if we can. Charge would not do it. It would still be left with 1 health. So that's not going to help us too much. Now, if we plonk this down,
I wonder.
that would be a 6/6, which means it would survive the onslaught from this. And if they decided to cast Fire Blast, they'd have to use another card to get rid of it. And in fact, it could heal up even more with these. So yeah, I think that's a good play. Right now. Does it get a heal? No, why do they keep healing each other? That's so annoying. Okay, it's probably not a good idea to place both of these down at the same time. But it would still survive a hit from this. And, okay, they haven't used a Fireball spell. I'm happy with that, to be honest. We are going to take 8 damage to the face here. Or 10 damage, 12 even. So we do need to get rid of this still. Tried to attack my Blood Imp, but we're unable to do so. Okay, so we've got 7 mana. And I wonder what would happen if you gave these taunts, seeing as how they can't be attacked. It's obviously not going to work, is it?
So many possibilities.
To Northrend!
We're going to put that down. The only problem is we're still not going to be able to kill this, which is annoying. It's still going to get 8 damage plus whatever buffs it gets on the next turn. Yes, indeed. I probably should have played the Darkscale Healer with a taunt. That would have annoyed it. The problem here...
Victory!
I think that's probably the best play. Maybe not, actually. Oh, well, at least we got both the heals off this. We could potentially take 9 damage here to the face, plus whatever spells they might have. We got 2 dark... Oh, no, that's not the same as that. Okay, fair enough. Okay, they decided not to hit us in the face with both of those, which I'm quite happy about, to be honest with you. So we could stick our taunt down along with 2 fairy dragons. I think that's probably a good play, to be honest. But I would like to kill this. The problem is we haven't got a lot of damage to bring out immediately.
Tadingo! Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. And see where that brings us. Both our fairy dragons got the health off the imps then, which was nice. So we've got 2 attacks from this with the Wind Fury. Well, unless actually it's only 1 health. We're going to need to finish this mage off quickly, since how they've got the legendary and Tony Dus. Guess it's going to go for 8 for the face now. Right, so we're in a bit of trouble here, to be honest. Unless we can do something about this now, we are in a lot of trouble, in all honesty. 3, hang on. We'll have to do this then, won't we? 5, 8. That will leave us with 1 mana. That wouldn't help. So we'd get a 5. Plus that would 8. So that would bring it down to 8 health. Yeah, that's not going to help really, is it? Or
so many.
I think we've lost this one, sadly. I don't think there's anything we can do. We can't. We could bring Taunt out. That's not really going to help us. Yeah, I think we've lost. We had a nice start to this.
I won't dare summon me.
Yeah. Let me just see. We could kill this. I guess that's the only thing we can do to give us even a chance of survival, isn't it? So if he's got 3 damage in here with a fireball or something, which I'm guessing they're going to have, then it's game over. Well, they got the Frost Elemental, so that's going to pretty much do it. Well, at least we managed to survive another round. Don't ask me how, but we did. That is the final round, though. There's no way we're going to do that again. So may as well go ahead and commit suicide here. And we got a silence card out. A little bit too late, I would say. Not that it would have helped us anyway. So we've lost our first arena game. Not a good start. Maybe we'll get a win next time. That would be useful. But please do join me. What do you think I could have done better in that game? Again, please remember I'm not an expert. I'm far from it at Hearthstone. If you want to see legendary play, please do not watch this series because you'll just get frustrated. If you want to see an average person having fun, then by all means stick along and we'll see what we can get. But yeah, any advice or tips you've got, please go ahead and let me know in the comment section. And I'll see you next time as we continue on with our Warlock in the Hearthstone arena. Bye for now.